Retro Road Test, BMW Z3 vs Honda S2000, 2000. At the dawn of the new millennium, when people still worried their toaster might suffer from the millennium bug and mobile phones had antennas that could double as fishing rods, two rather interesting sports cars were prowling British roads. One came from Germany wearing a tailored jacket and expensive aftershave. The other arrived from Japan wearing trainers, a headband, and an expression suggesting it had just drunk 6 cans of Red Bull. These two machines were the BMW Z3 and the Honda S2000, both two-seat, rear-wheel drive roadsters built for sunshine, twisting B-roads, and drivers who consider roundabouts to be recreational facilities. On paper they seem similar, 2 seats, soft tops, plenty of revs and a dash of glamour. Yet philosophically they could hardly be more different. The BMW Z3 represents classic European roadster tradition, smooth engines, a relaxed driving style, and a whiff of Riviera cafe culture. The Honda S2000, meanwhile, is a technological firecracker, a 9,000 rpm screamer that behaves like a motorcycle engine accidentally installed in a car. So what happens when you put them head-to-head in the year 2000, armed with UK specifications, a few winding roads, and a thermos of lukewarm petrol station tea? Let us find out. The contenders. BMW Z3, 2000. The BMW Z3 had already achieved a certain celebrity status by 2000, thanks in no small part to appearing in a James Bond film and looking rather handsome while doing so. Built in Spartanburg, South Carolina, it was BMW's attempt to revive the classic two-seat roadster formula. By 2000 the facelift Z3 range offered several engines, but the heart of the lineup in Britain was the 2.8-litre straight-six or the newer 3.0-litre arriving around the same time. The earlier 2.8 produced around 193 bhp and 280 Nm of torque, good for 0-60 miles per hour in roughly 6.6 seconds and a top speed around 144 miles per hour. Weight hovered around 1,285 kilograms, depending on specification. In classic BMW fashion, the Z3 uses a silky inline-six engine, rear-wheel drive, and an interior designed for drivers who believe walnut veneer is a legitimate performance feature. Honda S2000, 2000. Then there is the Honda S2000, which arrived in the late 1990s as a celebration of Honda's 50th anniversary and promptly caused engineers everywhere to spill their tea. The reason? Its engine. The 2.0-litre F20C produced around 236 bhp, revved to 9,000 rpm, and delivered a frankly ridiculous 120 bhp per litre, numbers normally associated with racing engines or espresso machines. Performance was brisk. 0-60 miles per hour, about 6.0 seconds. Top speed, roughly 150 miles per hour. The S2000 weighed roughly 1,270 kilograms and featured a slick 6-speed manual gearbox and double wishbone suspension at both ends. Where the BMW whispers, the Honda shouts. Styling, tailored suit vs track day trainers. Let us begin with appearances. The BMW Z3 looks like a roadster drawn by someone who had recently spent a pleasant afternoon admiring vintage sports cars. It features long bonnet, short tail, classic curves, and the sort of proportions that make you want to park beside a marina and order something involving olives. It is undeniably handsome. There is a sense of maturity to it. The Honda S2000, on the other hand, looks like it has been designed by engineers rather than stylists. It is compact, purposeful, and rather angular. Where the BMW says, "Let us enjoy the sunshine," the Honda says, "Let us find the nearest racetrack." The S2000 is smaller and more aggressive, with a shorter nose and tight proportions. The Z3 looks like it might appear in a perfume advert. Neither is ugly, far from it, but they broadcast very different personalities. Interiors: Bavarian lounge vs Japanese cockpit. Open the door of the BMW Z3 and you step into a place that feels reassuringly BMW. There are round dials, solid switchgear, and seats that look ready for a long drive to the south of France. The driving position is relaxed, the steering wheel nicely sized, and everything feels robust. The downside is that some components are lifted directly from the BMW 3 Series parts bin. That means it works well, but it also means it occasionally feels like you're sitting in a slightly squashed executive saloon. The Honda S2000 interior is completely different. Instead of traditional analog dials, you get a digital dashboard that looks like something from a PlayStation racing game. The rev counter dominates the display, which tells you immediately what Honda thinks this car is about. Everything feels purposeful and minimalist. There are no wood trims, no lounge-like touches, and absolutely no illusions about what the car expects you to do with it. Drive quickly. Engines, the soul of the matter. Here lies the biggest difference between the two cars. BMW Z3 engine character. The BMW Straight 6 is a thing of beauty. Smooth, creamy, and wonderfully flexible, it delivers torque from low revs and builds power in a linear, cultured manner. Press the accelerator and the car responds immediately with a deep, mechanical hum. It does not scream. It does not shout. It simply gathers speed in a confident, effortless manner. You can cruise through the countryside at 2,500 rpm feeling like a gentleman driver from the 1960s. Honda S2000 engine character. The Honda engine is completely mad. Below 5,000 rpm it behaves like a reasonably polite 2-liter engine. Pleasant enough. Slightly quiet. Nothing dramatic. Then you reach around 6,000 rpm. Suddenly the famous VTIC system wakes up, the engine note hardens, and the rev counter charges toward 9,000 rpm like it has just seen something exciting in the distance. The sound is glorious. Metallic. Furious. Slightly insane. Driving the S2000 is like piloting a chainsaw that went to university. Gearboxes, slick vs silky. Both cars come with manual gearboxes, and both are excellent. The BMW's 5-speed, or optional 6-speed on later versions, is smooth and easy to operate. It suits the car's relaxed character perfectly. The Honda's 6-speed, however, is legendary. Short throws. Mechanical precision. A satisfying metallic click as each gear engages. It feels less like changing gear and more like loading ammunition. Some enthusiasts consider it one of the finest manual gearboxes ever made, and after a few spirited miles, it is easy to see why. Ride and handling. Now we come to the business end. BMW Z3 on the road. The Z3 feels traditional. Its steering is nicely weighted and the car flows along winding roads with a relaxed rhythm. The suspension is firm but comfortable, and the chassis encourages smooth, confident driving. Push harder and the rear-wheel drive layout allows a bit of tail-happy fun. However, the Z3's chassis is derived partly from the older BMW E36 platform, and when driven extremely hard it can feel slightly less precise than modern sports cars. That said, for fast road driving it is thoroughly enjoyable. It is a roadster designed for real roads rather than racetracks. Honda S2000 on the road. The Honda is sharper. Much sharper. The steering is quick and accurate, the chassis feels taut, and the suspension communicates everything happening beneath the tires. Cornering grip is immense thanks to the car's balanced layout and double wishbone suspension. However, the S2000 has a reputation for being slightly lively. Lift off mid-corner and the rear can rotate rather enthusiastically. It rewards skilled drivers but may surprise the over-enthusiastic. In short, the BMW is friendly. The Honda is demanding. Performance. Let us compare numbers. Specification: BMW Z3 2.8 Honda S2000. Engine 2.8L inline 6 2.0L inline 4. Power 193 bhp 236 bhp. 0-60 miles per hour 6.6 sec 6.0 sec. Top speed 144 miles per hour 150 miles per hour. Weight 1285 kg 1270 kg. Sources. In pure numbers, the Honda has the edge. More power, similar weight, slightly quicker acceleration. But statistics do not tell the whole story. The BMW feels quicker in everyday driving thanks to its strong torque. The Honda requires enthusiastic revving to deliver its full performance. In other words, BMW, fast everywhere. Honda, very fast if you drive like a touring car driver. Roof-down motoring. Both cars are convertibles, so roof-down driving matters. The Z3 excels here. With the roof folded away, the BMW feels like the archetypal roadster. The wind buffeting is modest, the seating position comfortable, and the engine soundtrack wonderfully smooth. It is perfect for summer evenings and leisurely countryside drives. The Honda, meanwhile, is noisier and more intense. At motorway speeds the cabin fills with wind noise and the engine hums at high revs thanks to its short gearing. But when the road begins to twist, the Honda suddenly makes perfect sense. Roof down. Engine screaming. Gearbox clicking through ratios. It becomes a miniature racing car. Practicality, such as it is. Let us be honest, nobody buys a two-seat roadster for practicality. Nevertheless, the BMW offers slightly more boot space and a generally more relaxed driving environment. The Honda's boot is small and oddly shaped. Also, the BMW has cup holders. This may not sound important until you attempt to drive across England with a takeaway coffee and know where to put it. Reliability and ownership. Historically, both cars have good reputations. Honda's engineering is famously robust, and the S2000's engine is built to withstand enormous revs without complaint. The BMW's straight-six engines are also durable, though older examples can develop typical BMW quirks involving cooling systems and electrics. Running costs are broadly similar, though the Honda may encourage enthusiastic drivers to buy tires more frequently. The personality test. Ultimately, choosing between these cars depends on what sort of driver you are. If you prefer smooth power, elegant styling, relaxed cruising, classic roadster charm, you will adore the BMW Z3. If you prefer high revs, razor-sharp handling, track-inspired engineering, gear changes that feel like precision machinery. Then the Honda S2000 will steal your heart. Verdict: comparing the BMW Z3 and Honda S2000 is rather like comparing a jazz pianist with a heavy metal guitarist. Both are talented. Both are entertaining. But they play very different music. The BMW Z3 is the gentleman's roadster. It is smooth, stylish, and wonderfully enjoyable on a sunny afternoon. It invites you to take the scenic route and stop for lunch somewhere picturesque. The Honda S2000 is a pure sports machine disguised as a roadster. It demands commitment, rewards skill, and delivers one of the most exhilarating engines ever fitted to a production car. If forced to choose purely on driving excitement, the Honda probably wins. But if you want a sports car that feels special every time you open the garage, without requiring you to rev it like a touring car driver, the BMW remains utterly charming. Either way, in the year 2000 you would have been extremely lucky to own either. Preferably both.